You can't not have pie at Capitol Reef.
This national park is often voted Utah's most underrated.
This really is a beautiful park.
Stick around to find out why. We are working our way through Utah's mighty 5 national parks. We have spent some time in the Grand Escalante National Monument in southern Utah.
After squeezing our way through Peekaboo and Spooky Slot Canyon, we then hiked to a 130-foot tall waterfall with a swimming hole at the bottom.
We split ways from the Incredibus family after traveling together for 3 months.
Hasn't hit me yet.
Yeah, me either.
Just feels like we're moving on to the next spot and we'll see him again today.
Together, we had been in 2 countries and explored 3 national parks in 3 different states. It was really so hard to say goodbye to our travel buddies.
Hey neighbor! Probably look at campsites for 2, thinking we need
Room for a bus.
room for a bus.
To get to Capitol Reef National Park,
We are doing Scenic Route 12 in Utah. It's supposed to be the #2 scenic byway in all of America.
All the reviews that I read, the husband is like,
Let's
I mean, it was fine, it wasn't a big deal. And the wife's like, worst thing I've ever done in my life, we'll never do again.
this part of the road between Escalante and Boulder, Utah, is called the Hogback. There are drop-offs and sharp curves, so we can definitely see how this could be unnerving for some. While towing the trailer, though, we passed through the worst section without even realizing it. We didn't really understand why this section of the road has such the reputation that it does, but that might just come from us having driven on so many different kinds of roads all over the country.
Scenic Route 12 connects with Route 24 and takes you into Utah's most underrated park.
Capitol Reef National Park has some of the most beautiful scenery we have seen yet.
This park very quickly became one of our favorites.
Let's start out by going to Hickman Natural Bridge. We want you to be able to see just how beautiful these rugged landscapes are.
This is a moderate 1.8 out and back trail to one of the largest rock bridges in the park.
We think this park so often gets overlooked because access isn't quite as easy as the other parks. But no complaints here. There was just a handful of people on this trail, which is vastly different from the last 2 national parks we had been to. We were already starting to see how this park got its name. The white domes of Navajo sandstone kind of resemble Capitol Dome buildings. And the rocky cliffs start to look like an ocean reef, as if it were above water. Next on our to-do list was the Fruta orchards. It was still early spring, so things were just starting to green up.
Currently there's nothing on it, no fruit buds or flower buds or anything.
Cherries, apricots, apples, pears, peaches, and plums are all still grown in the orchards right here in the Fruta Valley. Originally, back in the late 1800s, this 200-acre chunk of land was a Mormon settlement.
There are several historic buildings still standing, such as the schoolhouse and the blacksmith shop. In 1908, the Gifford family built a self-sustainable homestead in what is now the Gifford Shop.
The National Park Service now owns the land and continues to sell homemade pie, cinnamon rolls, ice cream, and other locally handmade items.
You can't not have pie at Capitol Reef.
Right. I'm gonna try this first.
Okay.
All right.
Easiest person to pie. Very good. What kind do you have?
Mixed berry. That's really good. That was a big bite. Highly recommend the pie at Gifford House at Capitol Reef.
Seriously, what other national park can you buy homemade food items grown from orchards planted by the pioneers?
Aside from the 19th century history in the Fruta Valley, there are sections of petroglyphs dating back 800 years.
They tell stories of ancient indigenous people that used to live in the area.
Where we are headed next, in the Grand Wash, there is a section of rock called the Pioneer Register. This rock is where explorers and settlers left their mark by etching their names up high in the sandstone.
What we thought was the coolest part of the history in the area is that Butch Cassidy and his infamous Wild Bunch gang came through here. More on that later, though. First,
We're hiking Cassidy Arch.
This 3.3-mile out-and-back trail is listed as moderate.
1.5 miles, 950-foot elevation gain.
Yeah, it's pretty steep.
We found it to be semi-steep in some places, but overall easy to follow.
We are a half mile in. I think our climb is over because it is flattening out. And we are getting some beautiful canyon views. At first, the arch looks more like a cave in the distance. This really is a beautiful park. We made it to Cassidy Arch. The really neat thing about this arch is it is wide enough to walk right over the top of it. For those of you that don't know, Cassidy Arch is named after Butch Cassidy. It is thought that one of the Wild Bunch gang hideouts is right below this arch.
This is the bottom of the canyon that comes out of that arch.
Right.
And from a video that I watched, there's a whole area that looks like a cool entrance, and then like it opens up to like, yeah, somebody could totally
Have lived out
spend
here.
some time out here. Oh, this is it. Okay. We found it. There's a whole shelter back here. Look at this. This spot's pretty cool. I mean, you can build a full-on, like, comfortable living space in here.
Yeah. So what do you guys think? You think Butch Cassidy was here? We don't know.
We don't know, but they named the arch after him.
But they named the arch, yeah, which is right above us. Okay, back up to the top to finish out our hike. It was a little unnerving looking over the edge. We were up crazy high. The cars on the road look like ants, but the bird's eye views from up here really are incredible. You freak me out sometimes.
Do you remember your parachute? Kind of want to just jump.
Yeah, the truck's right below us, right? That'd be a crazy way to end a hike.
Yeah. Being able to fly would be awesome, but I'd take being able to jump off of high things without getting hurt. Be cool too.
After 5 days of exploring, it was hard to believe we had never heard of this national park before. With its beautiful scenery, rich history, and delicious homemade pies, we agree this park is so underrated. Oh, that head scratches. Oh, that head scratches. That's 3 of 5 of the Utah's mighty national parks. You can walk on the arch.
It's 3.5 miles
No.
out and back.
You're right. I can't talk for the camera. Number 4 in our journey is Canyonlands National Park. That's how I know it's too windy, but the front of my hat doesn't do anything. Where do you think, what?
Cassidy's loot. If it's in this area at all, it could be down any of these little wash canyon things, buried somewhere. It could be right here buried.